the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. So the winning streak unfortunately came to an end there yesterday, 1-2 on yesterday's NBA selection. So we'll try to start a new winning streak here today. Big show today. Of course, Sweet 16 action kicks off today. So we're going to be covering all that, as well as some picks for the NBA and the NHL, 8 in total. And second half of the show, we're going to be doing a New York Mets team betting preview. The Major League Baseball season week away now. Now, before I bring in my co-host for the day, do me a favor. If you're on YouTube watching right now, boom, hit that like button. Boom, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's bring in the guy, my co-host for today, senior editor over at VegasInsider, Iain. Hello, Iain.
Hello.
Iain, do you, what? Did you just roll out of bed here? I mean, I've challenged you on this before, but presentation matters a little bit. What's going on with the hair today?
I think I just need a haircut. I think that's all it is. So I've gone a little too long. I've been busy the past couple weeks. I need a haircut, Joe. You're right. I do need a haircut. I'll try to get one cut over the weekend. Probably not going to happen though.
I mean, the length of it is fine.
What am I supposed to do with it?
A little bit of hair product, maybe. It looks like you just rolled out of bed.
Yeah, it's the look I'm going for. That's what's in.
That is blasphemous.
Now, Ian's getting too comfortable with his looks. He's in a relationship now, so he's making that classic mistake of maybe letting himself go a little bit. So don't fall into that trap, Iain.
All right.
It will backfire, as it has for many, not me, but many others it has. Okay, so let's get right into it here. Sweet 16 action. We're covering most of it here on the show. Iain, we're going to let you hit lead off. What's your first pick for today's Sweet 16 action?
All right, let's get into it. Sweet 16 action starts tonight with a game between Kansas State and Michigan State, a battle between two state schools, which I think are cheaper to get into. I wouldn't know anything about that since I'm Canadian, though. So let's dive into it. I'm going to take Kansas State +2 against Michigan State here. Very small underdog. One of my favorite things to do when betting, especially on college basketball, is to fade the narrative. So as soon as I start to hear people talk about January, February Izzo, that tells me it is time to fade Michigan State. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Listen, Tom Izzo's a great coach. I love him. Not good enough to drag this mediocre team all the way to the Final Four. Or even the Elite Eight. I think the Michigan State run ends tonight. Wildcats have the advantage in most stats heading into tonight. They outrank Michigan State in effective field goal percentage, defensive efficiency, turnovers, rebounds, pretty much every single stat you want to look at. It's not a big difference, but they do outrank them in just about every single area. And they did that while facing much tougher competition. I think it is fair to say, I don't think many people would argue with me, that the Big 12, which was a much better conference this season than the Big 10. This is a down year for the Big 10. So better stats against better competition. And we're getting 2 points. Give me the Wildcats +2 against the Spartans.
Tom Izzo. You love Tom Izzo?
He's the best.
Okay, my favorite bet.
He lunges at players. He almost fights them. He almost fights his own players when they disagree with him. How do you not love that?
Tom Izzo is the best. It's okay. Anyhow, my March Madness action off to a decent start. 5-1 last weekend. I have my best bet for tonight. It comes from the FAU Tennessee game. Total 129.5 for this one. Boom! Absolutely love the under in this matchup. So check out the Tennessee Volunteers here. They are fantastic at taking away the three-point shot. Number one in opponent three-point percentage, which is incredibly important here, because the Owls are incredibly dependent on the three-point shot. They rank 17th in threes attempted per game. This is a big part of their offense, which might get completely nullified here. To their credit on the defensive end, the Owls are 14th in opponent two-point shot percentage. This is key, because if they can force Tennessee into more outside shots, The Vols, not a good three-point shooting team. Don't expect a lot of scoring at the free throw line in this one. Each is a poor free throw shooting team, 200th and 213th in free throw percentage. That's awful. Check out Tennessee, not allowing a lot of freebies here. They've allowed just 16 free throw attempts through their first 2 tournament games here so far. Tennessee in no rush out there, taking things nice and easy. They do play at a slow pace, 282nd in possessions per game. Worth noting here, final combined scores in Tennessee's first 2 tourney games so far, 113 versus the Raging Cajuns, 117 versus Duke. Give me under 129.5 between FAU and Tennessee. What do we got next, Ian? Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, we'll keep rolling with a game between UConn and Arkansas. And I've been on UConn for a while now throughout this season. I'm going to ride with them again tonight. I'll take the Huskies minus 3.5 against the Razorbacks. I think UConn is a better version of Arkansas, and I don't mean stylistically, because they do actually kind of play 2 different styles of basketball. What I do mean is that Arkansas is good in just about every single area. They have no glaring weakness. Now, the difference with UConn is, yes, they also don't have any glaring weakness, but instead of just being good everywhere, they are excellent everywhere. One of the best rebounding teams in the country, one of the best shooting teams in the country, one of the best defenses in the country. This UConn team is truly a contender to win the national championship. And it's going to be important tonight for them to play strong defense, especially on the interior, because Arkansas ranks 16th in 2-point shot rate. The majority of their shots come down low, but that is going to feed right into the strength of the Huskies, who rank 19th in the country in opponent 2-point field goal percentage. And UConn, one of the best teams in college basketball, and one of my favorite stats that I love to bring up, extra scoring chances per game. They're sitting at plus 4.9 extra scoring chances per game. And in a close game like tonight, that's going to prove to be pivotal. I'll lay the points with the Huskies against the Hogs in their Sweet 16 matchup tonight.
Huskies, Hogs. Okay, over to the game of the night in basketball. Comes in the NBA, of course. I'm talking about the Pelicans in Charlotte. Take on the Hornets. A lot of people excited about this one. This game has a total of 225.5. Give me the under. Let's get right into it. So the Hornets, they become the perfect under team. Check this out. League worst EFG shooting percentage. League best opponent EFG shooting percentage over the last 10 games. Dead last in points per 100 possessions in this span. Number 2. 3-point defense, and that's a bright spot for the Pelicans as well. 5th in 3-point defense in that span for them. They're also playing at a relatively slow pace. Nice and easy out there for the Pelicans. And both of these teams on fantastic under runs at the moment. The Hornets have gone under in 17 of their last 22. 29th in points per game in that span. Pelicans under in 12 of their last 15, 29th in points per game in that span for them, but 4th in points allowed over that stretch here for the Pelicans. Give me a low-scoring game between the Hornets and the Pelicans tonight in beautiful Charlotte. All right, Ian, let's keep rolling. What do we got next?
The actual best basketball game tonight, NBA or college basketball, is UCLA and Gonzaga, and I will take the Bruins -2 in the spot in what's a rematch of the Final Four matchup from just a couple years ago when Gonzaga won in overtime on a half-court heave from Jalen Suggs. Revenge game for the Bruins. But I think the big difference in this game is going to be Gonzaga's defense. It's going to cost them in this one. The big difference between this year's version of Gonzaga and the version of Gonzaga we've seen for the better part of the past decade is their defense. They head into tonight ranking 175th in defensive efficiency. For example, last year, they were inside the top 10 in that statistic. That's going to cost them today against a UCLA team that's not only good offensively, but good defensively, which is going to be a huge difference maker tonight because both these teams play very similar style of play. Both of them take the majority of their shots down low. They're 2-point shooting teams, but UCLA is much better at defending the 2-point shot. They're 37th in opponent 2-point field goal percentage, keeping teams to shooting 46.6% from down low. Meanwhile, Gonzaga, 218th in opponent 2-point field goal percentage, allowing teams to shoot 51% from 2-point range, while facing much worse competition in the West Coast Conference compared to the Pac-12, which the UCLA plays in. And UCLA leads the country in my favorite stat. I just talked about it in the UConn-Arkansas pick, but UCLA leads all of college basketball in extra scoring chances per game at plus 8.2. Give me the Bruins -2 and a revenge spot against Gonzaga.
Spot. All right, we swing right back around to the NBA. We get the Thunder taking on the Clippers for a second consecutive game. These teams just played on Tuesday. This game has a total of 232.5. My best bet for this one, boom! Once again, the under. Big under show for your boy here today. So neither of these teams is shooting it very good at the moment. EFG percentage last 10 games, 25th versus 27th. Clippers 28th in three-point percentage. Each team in the bottom third of the league in points per 100 possessions. We do have some bright spots, however, on the defensive end for each of these teams. Clippers top 8 in points allowed per 100 and opponent EFG. Well, OKC doing a great job at forcing turnovers and limiting points in the paint. The under is hitting at 75% in Clippers home games. It's the highest in the association this season. And like I said, these teams just played on Tuesday. They only combined for 201 points in that game. Now, we should expect to see a better shooting display. They were god-awful there on Tuesday, but still, this is a pretty big gap with two struggling offenses. I think the total is too high. Give me the under! Thunder, Clippers. All right, Ian, your final pick of the show. We're off to the ice. What are you looking at?
Yes, it is Hurricanes, it is Rangers, and I'm going to back Carolina as home favorites in this one, -145. I firmly believe that the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. That's right, not the Boston Bruins, not the Colorado Avalanche. I think it is the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's list off where they rank in a few key advanced analytics this season. Corsi percentage, first. Fenwick percentage, first. Expected goals for per 60 minutes, third. Expected goals against per 60 minutes, first. High danger scoring chances for, first. High danger scoring chances allowed, seventh. They are a very, 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 very good hockey team. I think they should be favored by more than this tonight, especially against a Rangers team that when you look at this stat, I'm going to whip this one out again, Joe. 5-on-5 venue and score adjusted expected goals over their last 25 games. Rangers are 23rd in expected goals for, 20th in expected goals against. I don't think they're in the same league as Carolina, especially considering these two teams just played on Tuesday, and that game was in New York. Carolina won the game 3-2, and they outshot them at 39 by a total of 39-31. Now Carolina's at home. I love them in this spot. Give me the Hurricanes -145 against the Rangers.
Ian, very long-winded with that one. But hey, good luck to him on that bet. Now, my best bet of the night on the ice comes down in Florida. The Panthers playing host to the Maple Leafs. I think an absolute bargain here. Give me the Florida Panthers coming in at -110 in this one. Check out the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's not sugarcoat it for a goddamn second. They're playing like complete and total dog shit right now. Let's dig into the analytics here. Last 10 games, expected goals for percentage, 1 versus 26. Corsi for percentage, 2 versus 25. High danger chances for percentage, 1 versus 28. All in favor of the Panthers here. I'm actually embarrassed for Ian as our resident Toronto Maple Leafs fan. It looks like Matt Murray going to get this start in the net here for the Leafs. He's been consistently bad. He's allowed exactly 4 goals in 6 straight appearances. Now he's on the road with a slumping defense in front of him versus a red-hot offense. This is a beautiful spot. Give me the Panthers. -110.
Mean.
Oof.
That was mean, Joe.
They're struggling right now, Ian. It is embarrassing. Look at Ian hopping on the Knicks bandwagon. Maple Leafs fan. He's a glutton for punishment. Okay, so 8 total bets there for you guys. If you're looking to tail any of that action or just place some bets of your own. I recommend placing that action over at BetMGM. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Sign up with BetMGM and use the promo code VIBonus1100, and you will get up to $1,100 paid back in bonus bets. If your first bet does not win, that's VIBonus1100, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet offer of $1,100 paid back in bonus bets. If you don't win, just use that code VIBonus1100. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. All right, so yeah, Major League Baseball season starts a week from today. That's incredible.
Crazy.
I can't wait.
Wow.
We're going to be very busy. Producer Tito is going to be very busy too. I don't know how many picks we're going to be doing per show, but we can't take it easy. A lot of stuff going on at the same time here. So yesterday, Kevin Rogers and I broke down the Yankees betting outlook here for 2023. So now let's take a look at the other New York team, Iain's New York Mets. See him sporting the hoodie there. Big expectations for the Mets coming into this season. So let's take a look at their odds coming in to 2023. Coming in with odds of plus 950 to win the World Series. That puts them right around the top 5 on the odds board. Plus 475 to win the NL. Plus 175 to win that division. Over-under wins sitting there at 91.5. And to make the playoffs, minus 380. Not a whole lot of appeal in a minus 380 bet. But yeah, the Mets probably should make the playoffs. So I take a look at this, these Mets. I take a look at those Mets, Ian. You know what I see with the Mets? I see a lot of red flags with your New York Mets. You know, you take a look at Scherzer and Verlander. Verlander already 40 years old. Scherzer going to be 39 this season. Durability has become a big issue for Scherzer over the past couple seasons. Verlander, who knows if that success will carry over from Houston. Pitchers had been known to go to Houston and kind of revitalize their careers a little bit. So who knows at 40 years old if you can still have that same magic here for the Mets. Plus, let's not sugarcoat this for a goddamn second. Both Scherzer and Verlander suck in the playoffs. The Mets fan is just completely disregarding that. You can't trust those guys in a big spot in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? And now we got this situation. One of their best players, one of their rocks, their closer, Edwin Diaz, out for the year. So now we got a messy bullpen situation here for the Mets. You can't really knock their offense. And yeah, this sounds like I'm just saying that the Mets suck. No, the Mets are a pretty good team. They should absolutely get into the playoffs. But if I'm making a season-long bet, win the World Series or to win the NL, I'd much rather take a shot on a team like the Padres or the Phillies. You can get at a better number. I think the Padres are just as, if not more talented than the Mets. They got more youth on their side. Plus, we saw the Phillies do it last year, and they added Trey Turner. So, Ian, your outlook for your Mets coming into 2023. What do you think?
Yeah, the Mets have one big issue, and it's something I'm very familiar with the teams that I cheer for. It's why I started cheering for the Knicks this year. It's why the Mets are my National League team, because I relate to them, and that's the fact that they are just a cursed franchise. I don't know if their stadium is built on Native American burial grounds or what's going on here, but this Edwin Diaz injury has completely proven the fact that this is just a cursed franchise. I got to say, one of the reasons why I started cheering for the Mets last year, number one, Citi Field is a much better field than Yankee Stadium. It's just a lot more enjoyable to go watch games, so I didn't like going to Yankee Stadium. Number two, the trumpets, when Edwin Diaz came out. It might be corny, but the vibes were high when the trumpets were playing, when Edwin Diaz would come out. And now we don't get that for an entire season. So they have some bullpen issues. They got to kind of stretch out their bullpen a little bit. They got to put one guy who is probably going to be in the bullpen now as a starter, because Jose Quintana, he's going to be out at least for a little bit. So Tyler Megill might have to be put in their starting rotation, and now another guy who is in the reliever will have to take over the closing job with Edwin Diaz gone. So now their bullpen's getting stretched out a little bit. I don't like it as much as I do like the Mets, as much as I have called them my National League team. I have a lot of concerns for this Mets team heading into this year. I don't think they'll win the NL East. I think that's going to go to Atlanta. And I actually do kind of have concerns about them even making the postseason. So we saw those odds. They are minus, 380 to make the playoffs. If there's odds out there for them to not make the playoffs, that actually might have a little bit of value, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because
I think it is.
Another point, like you said, Joe, Max Scherzer and Verlander, you're relying on two old fellas to carry your team. It's a recipe for disaster.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Yeah, you've seen teams try to buy championships before. Sometimes it works out. The Mets should ask the Yankees about buying a championship, how that's gone for them lately. And, they don't have that rock-solid bullpen like we thought they were going to, having coming into the season. So who knows? I think the Braves have just as much talent. I think the Braves are better. And like I said, people are sleeping on the Phillies a little bit for some reason. So let's take a look at a favorite season-long bet here for the Mets. Now, for me, my favorite season, or one of my favorite season-long bets for the Mets, something positive. I like Francisco Lindor to go over his total hit total, set at 147.5. Where in the hell are they getting this number? This number is actually incredibly insulting. Whoever set this number will probably get called into their boss's office any day now and get completely chewed out for incompetence of the highest level. You'd think there's some sort of Byron Buxton level injury issues or something, but that's not the case at all, because he's actually got a pretty good history in regards to durability. He only missed significant time in one season, his first season with the Mets, where he played in 125 games, but you saw him playing 161 last season, only missed a handful of games here and there with the Cleveland Guardians during his time with that team. And check this out, after his rookie season, and obviously not including the shortened COVID season, he's averaged 164.5 hits across 6 seasons, including 170 last season, which is the 5th time in his career where he's had 170 or more hits. Now, I know sometimes with these future bets, especially one at minus 115, people don't like to kind of wrap up their money for months at a time. But to me, this is an awesome bet, in my opinion. I don't know where the hell they got this number. I know Lindor, he hasn't been as good as he was during his time with the Guardians. But 170 hits last season. He missed one game. So beautiful bet there on Francisco Lindor. Ian, what are you looking at for a favorite season-long bet here for your New York Mets?
Yeah, excuse me. Oh.
Jeez, what's your problem? What's going on here, man? Going up looking like shit? You're feeling like shit apparently too.
That's a Mexican food last night that's not agreeing with me, I'm going to be honest. My pick for the Mets is a little bit of a negative one, unfortunately. I'm going to take Max Scherzer under 12.5 wins here. I think we're going to see some regression coming from Max Scherzer. Number one, we already mentioned this, he's 38 years old. Number two, his strikeout numbers fell pretty significantly by almost a full strikeout per 9 innings. That's kind of concerning. And he also dealt with injuries last year. Let's not forget about that. He only played in 23 games last year. It's going to be hard for him to go over 12.5 wins if he plays in a similar amount of games. As he's getting older, he's not... he's kind of losing the ability to play an entire season. And he only got 11 games last season in the 23 games that he played in. And as I mentioned, the Mets are a cursed franchise. Edwin Diaz going out might hurt some win totals for these Mets pitchers, and also lack of run support. Remember when Jacob deGrom was allowing 1 run, but then wasn't getting wins? That might be the case here for Verlander and Scherzer this year as well. So I think 12.5 is a notch too high for Max Scherzer this year. I just don't think he's going to play the whole year. I think he's probably going to deal with some injuries. I think he's going to regress a bit. Give me Scherzer, unfortunately, under 12.5 wins.
Scherzer. What type of diet are you on? You're always on different ends of the spectrum. You're running races one weekend, the next Wednesday night you're drinking wine and eating Mexican food. The next night you're bragging about taking baths and drinking tea.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Can we find a little bit of balance here with
Well,
your health protocol or what?
here's the issue. As long as like I have a normal schedule, I eat healthy, I count my calories, I'm running all the time, I take baths. The issue is that there's always something going on. So now the in-laws have been visiting for a week. So has been a lot of going out to eat, a lot of wine being drank. And then I'll have 2-3 weeks once they leave where I'll get healthy again. And then my mom is visiting next month, and I'm sure I'll drink every day that she's here. So I don't have the ability where if something's going on, I can't say no. If I'm going out, I got to drink. So it's a roller coaster.
Just say no.
It's life in the big city.
Someone asked me to do something? No, absolutely not. The moment I make plans with people, this isn't always the case, but I make plans with somebody and I find myself immediately regretting it. I'd rather stay home by myself. In some of these situations.
I
But
think
hey,
so. When I eventually have kids, Joe, like you do, I think I'll be similar that way. But I'm trying to take advantage of the last year, 2, 3 years I've left with no kids, and if I waste those years not enjoying my time, then I'm sure I'll regret it. So
yeah,
that's how I justify being a borderline alcoholic.
That is 100% my advice to the younger guy out there, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, if you have a little bit of a disposable income, take advantage of your freedom. These are things that people take for granted because myself as a married guy with 2 young kids, I just can't take off on a Tuesday at supper time to go play video games with my friends. You got responsibilities. You want to maintain a healthy marriage. I got Sundays during football season completely booked off. That's my time. People want to come down and watch football with me, hey, they can. But yeah, take advantage of your freedom. You're doing it right. Absolutely. Just a little bit more balance, though, is what I would recommend to you. And what I would recommend to the viewer is downloading the Vegas Insider app. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Right now, the Vegas Insider app gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. You can shop for the best odds, find props, futures, and plenty more with the app. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. And if you're on YouTube watching right now, hit up that comment section right down there. Let us know what your best bets are for the Sweet 16. Any Major League Baseball futures you might like. Let me know what your prediction is for the World Series. I got Dodgers over Blue Jays. Ian, do you have an official prediction for the World Series for us yet?
Yes, you did tell me to come prepared to the show today with an official World Series pick. So I'm just going to keep saying words until I think of one. And I am going to say the Braves beat the...
That is
Mariners.
blasphemous.
The Braves beat the Mariners in the World Series this year.
Yeah, that's a popular one. You know, I'm looking at the Astros. They're plus 600, and a lot of people don't like picking the favorite. But I don't know, man. There's not a whole lot of knocks on the Astros. I mean, it doesn't help that Altuve is going to be out for like 2 months, you know, and they lost Verlander, but they got a lot of great young starting pitchers, a lot of great young hitting, rock solid bullpen. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Astros go back to back. You know, they showed a little bit of grit in the playoffs there last year, ability to bounce back. So what about the 2 New York teams, though? We previewed the Yankees yesterday, Mets today. We asked Vegas Insider followers on Twitter their opinion, which team they think goes further. We got the Yankees here, 55.3%. I mean, it's tricky because we know the Yankees flop in the playoffs. They might come out in 2023, have the best regular season of all time, then get swept in the opening round. I wouldn't be shocked by that at all. But I might agree with the Yankees because I think the Yankees have a better shot of getting into the playoffs. You know, they both have a great shot. But what do you think here, Ian?
Yeah, the Yankees are a trash organization. I don't know if you saw this, Joe, but they're charging their players for Wi-Fi on the planes now. They're not covering that cost, which I think would come out to $40,000 for the season. So it came out that they will be charging their players for Wi-Fi on the airplane. They're a trash organization. They play in a trash stadium. in the Bronx. So no, the Mets will advance further. Even though the Mets are a cursed franchise, the Yankees are just a disaster. So I'll take the Mets.
Charging for Wi-Fi. That sounds like the Oakland A's back in the Moneyball days, charging their players to use the vending machine. Signing bonus, they give the guy a roll of quarters, for God's sakes. Let's get the Oakland A's moved to Las Vegas. How great would it be to go to Las Vegas in the summer, nice air-conditioned stadium?
Oh,
Watch Vegas taking on the oh my God, that would be incredible.
oh, the dream, the dream.
I gotta get back to Vegas. I was there in August. My brother's there taking in some Sweet 16 action, actually.
Ooh.
So, Mike, if you're watching, enjoy yourself in Las Vegas. Iain, quick question: do you watch the show Ted Lasso?
No, never watched it.
No. Okay. Not much of a discussion then, just some quick commentary by me. So, yeah, they are in season 3 of Ted Lasso. It will be the final season of Ted Lasso. A lot of people were surprised because a lot of shows usually go, especially like comedy type shows, will go 5, 6, 7 seasons. A lot of people kind of surprised it's only going 3 seasons. I think it's good that this show is only going 3 seasons. And the reason is because I think Ted Lasso, the character, maybe getting a little bit annoying. And I think maybe people might turn on him if the show goes much longer. So they're going to do the thing where they kind of leave on top. So good for them. I think that is a good strategy. Season 3 off to a decent start. The season premiere, not so great. Episode 2 I caught yesterday was pretty good. I would recommend checking out that show, though. They are leaving on top. Now, another show leaving a bit early, Succession.
Yes.
Their 4th season begins on Sunday. Fantastic show. They have the potential to close out as, one of the top shows of all time. You can't quite say they're up there with the Sopranos and Breaking Bads yet, even The Wire, but if they stick the landing here, this will go down as one of the best shows of all time. And I think they are leaving a bit too early. I was shocked when they came in and said this is going to be their final year. Iain, do you watch Succession?
I do watch Succession, one of my favorite shows. And I agree. I thought and hoped it was going to be 5 seasons. I didn't want it to go any longer than 5. I don't know if they have enough time to completely wrap it up. But yeah, I like Succession. It's one of my favorite shows. Very excited for that. So I'm not going to be able to start watching Ted Lasso because here in the next couple of days, I'll be going through the final season of Succession. I don't have a lot of time for shows. I just started Last of Us. Have you watched Last of Us? I watched episode 1 like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't had time to watch episode 2.
Yes, it was awesome. They had the season finale here a week ago. Awesome show, incredible show. Now, very quick, what's the best show of all time?
Game of Thrones before season 8.
No, you got to go start to end. Best show of all time.
I think I still say Game of Thrones, even though season 8 sucked. You know what? I enjoyed Lost. A lot of people didn't like the last couple of seasons of Lost.
You got to stick the landing.
I didn't mind it.
I love Lost too. I think Lost wrote themselves into a corner. They had so many mysteries that they couldn't figure out how to explain them towards the end. Now, the top 2 contenders for me are The Sopranos and Breaking Bad. Couldn't say that name a moment ago, but I would give the nod to Breaking Bad. I think that they stuck the landing much better. I thought they were much more consistent. I would say that The Sopranos has better characters, though, but I do think that the ending of The Sopranos was complete and total chicken shit. Choose your own adventure. Well, it's up to the viewer to decide what happens. No, give us a definitive fucking ending and tell us what happened. Now, that said, Sopranos, they got better characters than Breaking Bad, but Breaking Bad, much more consistent. Okay.
I didn't love Breaking Bad. I thought it was good. I thought it was a fun
story. The lows, the highs were very high for Sopranos, but the lows were very low. The Vito stuff in the final season. They ended kind of weak. But Tony may be a better character than Walter White, but it's very close. The Wire.
I'm surprised you didn't say Entourage.
Oh, that ended. That turned to shit. The first 3 seasons of Entourage, 4 seasons, peak television. Johnny Drama, a peak television comedy character. Entourage, yeah, it's one of my favorite shows, but the ending, that went on for too long. They should have went 5 seasons max, probably.
I'm going to change my pick. Favorite show of all time, Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Ever watch that? It's a good one.
I have. Good one. All right, producer Tito is telling us to wrap up here. Not before I tell you guys about the Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Kyle Hunter is on fire in the NCAA tournament, 12-1 so far. Chip Chambers, 2-0 last night, 10-3 college hoops run. Scott Pritchard continues his assault on the books, extending his NBA run to 9-1 in his last 10 picks. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for tournament top plays in NBA. Best bets. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, bettors. I think we should have a longer conversation, Ian, sometime debating best TV shows of all time, and we could break them into to different categories. It's hard for a show to stick the landing. That's what I'll say. Even like The Office had a good finale, but the two, like after Michael Scott left, what the hell are you doing? But it's a money-making game. They keep these shows on the air because they want to make more money. But like I said, it is hard to stick the landing. When you can stick the landing, though, it is fantastic. So, Ian, what do you have going on out in your world outside of Chasing That Paper that Chasing That Paper viewers can check out?
Yeah, you can check out all my articles over on Fansided. It's actually where I'm writing most of my articles nowadays, not Bet-sided, Fansided. So you can check out my written articles over there. Check out the Bacon Bets podcast. And follow me on Twitter at Iain MacBets because, I guess probably about a little bit ago, match play started back up for golf. So check out my picks for today's match play action. Joe, who did you bet on to win the PGA Tour match play tournament?
I got Tony Finau coming out on top. I thought he was offering pretty good value. And, I think he'll respond playing on this course. So Tony Finau is my selection. There you have it. Okay, Ian will be right back with us tomorrow. We'll be breaking down the Sweet 16 Friday action as well as some NBA and NHL per usual. Maybe slip a little MLB in there as well. So, Ian, thank you for joining us. Thank you, dear viewer, for checking us out today. Best of luck with your bets tonight. Unless, of course, you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo! Yeah!